Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is David and Jeff Bush from Grow My Profit, and today we get a chance to interview a friend, Kyle Onstott, and we're going to get a chance to dive in deep. Kyle's been doing some innovative things and building his business, and with Jeff's background in marketing and what we do on a day-to-day basis, and working with entrepreneurs that want to scale their business 2 to 10x in the next 3 to 5 years and have a nice exit, whether it's exiting the org chart or exiting the business and selling it at maximum profitability. That's what we're all about. So Kyle, let's dig in, man. Tell us a little bit about your
Cool.
background and what got you to start the Empire Marketing Group.
Yeah. So background, I actually worked at Paychex for 7 years. I was a business consultant there. I tell everyone I got my master's degree at Paychex University. So I consulted actually with thousands of small to mid-sized businesses over my 7 years. And I just ran the Think and Grow Rich model. I don't know if you guys have ever read that. It's a great book by Napoleon Hill. He went around, interviewed the top 50 CEOs across the nation. So I read that book early on in my career and I said, this is genius. I'm going to take the advantage of the businesses that I get to sit in front of, and I'm going to do the same thing. So over my tenure, I think it was just over about 2,000 small to mid-sized businesses that I got to interview. I serviced them through HR, payroll, insurance, digital marketing, 401k and retirement plans, merchant services. And then my wife and I started a bookkeeping business. And then I got into real estate, started, kind of using Paychex as my engine and started investing in real estate. My first flip when I was 22 years old, partnered with my dad, called him one day and said, "Hey, Dad, you down to flip a house?" My buddy was a realtor, had the perfect house for us. And then after that, formed a LLC with my dad and my two best friends. And we just started doing fix and flips and investing in the real estate side of things. So that was like my early career. I know I started, early in my 20s and was able to get a lot of experience early on in my life, which I'm super blessed and grateful for. I
Nice.
throw too much at you
No, that's
there.
that's perfect. That's perfect. So kind of went from being an employee to being like owning a business and finding a need and talking to business owners. When we talked 6 months ago, I was really surprised to hear you actually had like a scorecard. So you were kind of implementing traction and EOS. It's pretty rare to see that. When I decided to get on a scorecard and run traction EOS kind of implemented at my company, that's when we went from $10 million in sales to 20 million. We set a goal to get to 50 million and we were like all like working that plan. It was amazing just holding people accountable. Tell me a little bit about that. How did you get involved in doing a scorecard? And that's, I think, helped your business. I mean, you've grown by millions of dollars in the last few years, right? By just kind of doing that. Tell me a little bit about how you got on the scorecard and how that's affected your business, because that's one of our 6 steps is you got to hold people accountable and have goals and a scorecard with money revenue on it,
Yep.
right? Tell me a little bit about that because I know you did that.
Yeah, 100%. So EOS we got introduced to through my mentor and then my business partner, which is also my brother-in-law. He handles all the operations. He was already doing it through the last company he was working with as well. So when I talked to him about it, I'm like, hey, I want to get EOS included and get it dialed into our systems within the organization. He was like, oh, I've been running on EOS for the last 5 years. I was like, well, perfect. That's great.
Nice.
Let's do it. So we were able to early on, we started it, but we didn't really have the accountability. We didn't have all the systems. We were still learning how to actually implement it into the business. We had used
Right.
it, we've heard of it, read the books, but implementing it's a little bit different. So self-implementers got a lot of respect for them. Having a coach is definitely, the way to go. They can streamline that whole
Right.
process for you. But it's been huge for us. We had over 400% growth last year. Our team 3x in size, and we plan to do about 600% growth this year. Being in the digital marketing space, it's one of the fastest growing industries out there in the market right now, and so a lot of people are realizing they can't live and run and work in a business without marketing. They can't hit their goals without marketing. So yeah, this has definitely allowed us to stay organized, go over our scorecards, have our rocks. create our annual goals. And then we actually just got back last week from our team quarterly meeting. So we did Top Golf and had our meeting there. So it's a game changer. It's also huge on culture, right? It helps build the culture. Everybody understands the vision of the company, where you're going, the direction. Like you mentioned, there's the accountability aspect of it. So having all of that dialed in is going to change anybody's business for sure.
Just out of curiosity, like I don't know if you set a BHAG, I don't know if that's traction, the big, hairy, audacious goal, right? I mean, we set 50 million and I figured, hey, if I hit 50 million, I'm going to sell the company, right? That was kind of my big goal. Do you have a goal for your company? Like if you hit $10 million in sales, maybe you could sell it for 10 million bucks and then you're out. Do you have like kind of an exit plan? Is that all lined up in your company goals, or is it like I'm going to keep this company and just keep making $1 million a year forever and just have a good cash flow? Just some people want to keep their
Yeah.
business. Some people are getting to a certain level to sell it. Where are you sitting at, you think, today?
Yeah, so my original goal was $10 million. In this industry, you can get at 10 million, you can get anywhere from an 8 to a 15x on the EBITDA. So with that, obviously we could make a good amount of money at a 30% profit margins. That puts us at like a $36 million exit.
Right.
But I don't know. That's the plan right now, but I'm open to other options. I might be open to an employee buyout, sell some equity, or just hiring a CEO if things are, continuing to run smooth and things change. I'm still young. I'm 31. So I definitely know for sure I will be removing myself within the next 3 years of the company. How that exit looks, I'm open. I have a plan. I have a strategy, but it might change.
Yeah.
Nice.
So just in going along the lines of the exiting the org chart to give yourself more time freedom, what do you think is your biggest challenge or biggest barrier, and how are you overcoming that in progression, or how do you see yourself overcoming the barrier? Because a lot of times, and Jeff had the same thing before he had his exit, is that it's sometimes hard to delegate, hard to hand things off when you're the owner and you're the one that really kind of owns it at a high level. It's hard to find other people that own it at the same level and can grow into your capacity. So how are you handling that?
Yeah. So early on, we brought in somebody, we gave him the opportunity. He was an employee at the time, our first hire actually. And we gave him the opportunity to buy in at a small percentage of equity within the company. So we knew he could be a key player. We knew he'd bring a lot of value. For me, I don't need the cake and I don't have to eat it too. I'm totally cool just taking my piece of the pie and finding key players around me that can grow the organization as a whole. We're having conversation right now and bringing in another strategic and C-level executive, and also offering an equity position. So that's really the biggest and most important thing, is finding people that you can trust, finding people that have the experience, the insight, the knowledge, and can take you to that next level. So right now there's three partners. I have majority share in the company. My brother-in-law, he has equity in the company, and then that first employee. We'll probably bring in one more person at a small percentage, and then possibly one other person, and kind of go from there. So that's my strategy. It's really just being a leader, and then leading leaders is the thing. As a CEO, that's what you have to do within the organization. And so my ideal position would be promoting one of those C-level executives into the CEO seat and then being able to exit at that point.
Cool.
Nice. So I guess one of our, if we look at our different 6 steps, there's like 6 steps to grow a business, right? We're talking, scorecard. He just mentioned leadership, which is great, getting the right leaders on board. I think that's 2 of the steps. A big one is sales and a big one's marketing. So, obviously you have a sales team, right? To grow revenue, you got to have salespeople, dialing the phone and reaching out and trying to onboard new customers, and then keep those customers and keep them reordering, right? You have kind of some recurring revenue probably if they sign a contract for a year. How have you focused on growing the sales team? Are you just running ads and hiring and giving them kind of a system of dialing businesses to go sell? It's mainly digital marketing, and I don't know, is it SEO, pay-per-click, email marketing, video, YouTube. It's you do a little bit of everything, right, on in your digital marketing company. But how have you built
Yeah.
the sales team and grown sales that way?
Yeah. So through our sales team, the last year was really focused on reorganizing our operations and rebuilding systems. So as you know, as you grow and scale a company, the SOPs are always going to change, right? The operations are going to be able to, or should be able to grow with the organization. So we've really just over the last 3 months had a focus and emphasis on building out the sales and business development side of the company. We just find sales teams where ideally we look for people with talent. Headhunting has been a great way, finding other, businesses, other sales guys in the industry that are already working. Primarily majority of our business is local. So we do some stuff nationally. We have some clients, over on the East Coast, but we're based here out of Temecula, California. So most of our business is here in Southern California. We know the market, we know the demographics here. So we're looking for local people. Social media has been a great way. It's a really easy way to find good talent. You just go through their social pages and see what they're doing, what they talk about. You can learn a lot of insight about somebody just through social media. So that's been a great piece. And then of course, like word of mouth going on like some of these group pages. Myriad Talk's a big one out here in our area. There's, probably other local groups in every city. So if you go out and you just send out a post, you're going to get flooded with, potential new hires. And then it just comes down to the interviewing process. We have a 3-phase interview process. So you're going to meet with the hiring manager, you're going to meet with the COO, and then you meet with myself last. Those guys go make sure you're qualified for the position, a little bit on, whether or not you're going to be a good culture fit. And then really my sole purpose and focus of that interview is just to see if you're a culture fit. Culture is the most important thing for us. We have a team of 20 here. One bad egg could spoil it all. So I learned, from Paychex, a lot of this leadership. I went through a leadership course through Paychex. They're one of the top training organizations in the world. And so I really learned the value of culture. And so we really protect our culture. So when it comes to hiring, that's the number one thing I care about. It's, things come down to one of two sides. Is it a will issue or is it a skill issue? I could teach skill all day long. That's not a problem. I could teach anybody the skills, but if they don't have the will, they're just not a good fit. So understanding, the difference between those two is what it comes down to.
Nice.
I'm kind of curious from an operational standpoint, because that's a big aspect of sales growth, especially when you're having 300 and 400 or 600% growth. How are you handling the operational aspects and not allowing things to get dropped or missed with that huge explosion of growth? Is it systems,
Yeah.
processes, people, all of the things working together, or what's been your secret?
Yeah, it's really been all the things. Just like any business, you have your fires, you got to put them out. You got to figure out where those holes are in the bucket. So putting the right people in the right seat has been the most important thing. We've had a few people in the wrong seats and just they're great, awesome employees. They've been, great for the team, great for the culture, just wrong seat. So just shifting and making sure that they're in a position that they love what they do, right? And they enjoy coming into work each day. And then just giving them the systems to be able to implement. And then it just comes down to the leadership team and the operations team, making sure that the systems are being followed and also being updated. That's one of the biggest things that we learned early on is we weren't updating our systems frequently enough. So things started slipping through the cracks. You bring on a new employee, they don't know the system. They're just seeing how this person's doing it, but they've been doing it that way. And we changed it. It wasn't supposed to be done that way. So that's one of the biggest, pieces of advice I would say for, other businesses is just make sure you're always updating those systems and you have your team collectively working together. There's a lot of different technologies that you could download and record your screen. You can do videos. You can put it into transcript. There's a software called Descript. You can have it all transcribed. So as far as like technology and software, that's been a huge help and time savings. Back in the day, you'd have somebody manually typing everything out. You don't have to do that anymore. Just, implement some technology and save you hours. Just tell your employee, hey, make sure when you do this process, you click record, it records, you throw it into the transcript software, and now you got a full SOP right there like that. So doesn't
Very
take,
cool.
hardly any other effort.
Nice. One of the big focuses on at my company was marketing, trying to generate leads that I could hand to the salespeople so it would be easier for them to sell. And I heard the best definition of marketing after being in marketing for 30 years. Somebody said marketing just makes it easier to sell. That's all it does.
Yeah.
And that tells me
Right.
sales is more important than marketing. But if you could do some
Mhm.
marketing that made it easier to sell, your company would grow faster. So marketing is a close second. So being that you're a digital marketing company, right? It's like you're doing marketing for everyone else, but then you got to focus on doing it for yourself. Do you have kind of a marketing plan where, hey, I'm going to spend X amount of money to get a certain amount of new customers every month? And I mean, I don't know whether it's, email or Google or SEO. I'm sure it's all that, but you have a pretty good marketing plan. How much do you focus on marketing to try to get leads to your salespeople so they don't have to do all cold calling, which makes them kind of burn out and quit, right?
Yep, 100%. Marketing, obviously being an agency, like we practice what we preach, right? So we're full service. We do everything: web design, SEO, social media, email marketing, advertising, and lead generation. We have a lot of different softwares. So everything that we sell and offer to our clients and business partners, we also implement, and it works at the end of the day. We get leads from every source. We get leads through social. We get leads through the ads that we're running. We run pay-per-click and social ads. For right now, lately, we've actually been getting a lot more leads through social than we have PPC, which is not normal. But what we've seen is when it comes to consumer behavior, a lot of consumers are starting to use social media as a search engine, right? And so they're actually doing searches through social, where back in the day, everybody used to use Google. So Google's kind of lost some of that market share. They're trying to change that. They've made some updates into their algorithm to where now when you do a Google search, it's going to start showing social media content. So they're trying to, take back that market share. We'll see what happens. AI is also changing the game exponentially.
Yeah.
That's really big. So super innovative on that space. But we have software. We have some LinkedIn software. Could go in, create connection requests through Sales Navigator. You can create customized lists. You can get very targeted and specific on the demographics that you want to reach. And then we have our software that plugs into it, creates the connection request, and does the messaging. We have another software. So when you go to the website, you accept the cookies, we get that data. So now as soon as that data comes through, they're automatically getting put into a drip system. So that's been huge. So now they're getting email marketed, and then we take those emails, we put them into our social platforms where we're running ads, and now they're getting retargeted through social media. So
Nice.
they just went to our website, now they jump on Facebook, and now they're seeing our ads, or they go to YouTube or Instagram or whatever their platform of choice is. So a lot of retargeted marketing. When it comes to marketing, it's just all about nurturing those leads, right? It's all about as many impressions as you could possibly get. You want to be the last impression before the need arises, right? So if you were the last impression, you were the last brand or business or face that they saw, and then their need arises, they're going to call you. You're the last association that they had. So just making sure you're everywhere, right? Omni-channel, being on all the platforms. Don't just pick one. Don't only be on Facebook. There's a demographic there. There's also another demographic on Instagram. There's an even separate demographic on TikTok. So going omni-channel is definitely super valuable, but implementing all of these strategies to where they're cohesively working together is the most important thing you can do.
Are you kind of a niches to riches guy? Like I know when I had my agency, we got it up to $20 million in sales and we were focused on just a couple niches, like mortgage and solar, which was
Yep.
great. I mean, we got really good at it. We got well known, but it sounds like because you're doing business, a lot of your clients are local, you're doing a little bit of everything. Is it business to consumer, or you even do both of those? Is it kind of like pretty wide net, like anybody with a digital marketing budget, which is every business, right? But do you do anything like
Yep.
where you hone in on a niche, or that hasn't been that important?
No, for us, we're not in the transactional business, right? There's plenty of transactional marketing agencies. You can go up the street, you can go around the corner, you can jump online. They'll give you their packages, they'll give you their pricing. That's who they are, that's what they do. It's great. That's not us. That's not how we run and operate. Everything that we do is really specialized and specific to the business. Marketing's marketing, right? We're marketing experts. We understand marketing. We don't need to be industry experts. All we need to do is be able to understand the consumer that we're targeting and what they want, what they're actually looking for. And so with us, everything's really, we do the data and analytics, we do keyword research to figure out how many people are looking for your product. We do competitor analysis, both on a local and national level. We see what's working, what type of content they're pushing out, what type of engagement rates they're getting through their social. And then based on all that data and analytics, we put together a strategy based on the client's specific budget. So we offer more or less like a fractional CMO type service, to where we're actually coming in as the chief marketing officer and we're saying, hey, you're the CEO or the CFO. I'm your CMO. What's our budget? What are we working with this quarter or this year? Based on that budget, here's the data and analytics. And then here's the strategy our team put together. We're going to put X% towards SEO, X% towards social media, X% towards ads. This is how it's all going to run and operate and work together. And so
Nice.
that's when we implement all of it, or if they already have somebody in house, we'll work alongside them and kind of be that partner role.
As we wrap up here, Kyle, thanks so much for spending time with us, and super exciting to hear what Marketing Empire Group's doing. But if you were to leave us with 3 tips that, after all the conversations you've had with business owners that want to grow their business, want to grow their profits, and they're tired of spending money on ads, or tired of spending things on things that are not working. What are your top 2 or 3 go-tos that if they were to focus on these 2 or 3 things, they'd get higher profitability, better return on their investment, best strategies?
Yeah. So I'm going to throw a couple. The first one is personal development. Invest in personal development. Read the books, listen to the audiobooks, go to the seminars, watch the YouTube videos, do that. That's the first and most important thing. Grow personally before anything else is going to grow. The second thing is have strategies in place. Like everybody says, you need to have a business plan. Well, that's cool. You should definitely have a business plan. But you also need in-depth strategies. You need to know exactly what you're planning to do. And then you need the accountability. So whether it's a coach, whether it's a business partner, whether it's, your pastor at church, like whatever that looks like for you, find some sort of accountability and somebody who's going to be able to help you grow and scale and implement the things based on that strategy that you say you're going to implement. And then the last thing is, as we enter this recession, right? Don't be the business owner that goes to their P&Ls, grabs the line item titled marketing and advertising and puts a red line through it and cuts it out. Don't do that. Like that, you will kill yourself. That's just a disaster. If anything, double down on your marketing. Now's the time where business owners, they're all doing that, right? Anyone who's, more technician minded. I don't know if you guys have ever read the Michael Gerber E-Myth Revisited. It's a great book. Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
But technician minded versus, business minded. All the technicians, all the business owners that don't understand business, they're going to their P&Ls right now and they're eliminating their marketing budgets, which means there's market share that's opening up, prime for the picking. Yes, the market's decreasing a little bit because of the recession. There's less buyers, but it's open back up because all your competitors are pulling back on their marketing. So if you double down on your marketing right now, advertising costs are going to go down because there's less advertisers. Social media impressions are going to go through the roof because there's less people producing social media content. Your SEO rankings are going to go up because people are no longer investing in their SEO. So as far as like my best advice, double down on your marketing, find a good agency, and make sure to find an agency that is focused on data analytics and is really going to work with you based on your budget, not just somebody that's just going to give you a price and a package.
Wonderful. Well, Jeff, any final comments before we wrap up?
No, I'm just excited that Kyle's doing the deal. He's actually in the fight and growing revenue. And, when other people are just complaining and acting like it can't be done. He's just doing it. I love to hear that. So I'm excited to just get a little information from him on how he's doing it. And I think it's going to help some people. And some of the businesses that we're talking to need digital marketing. We can push them to Kyle. He's got a pretty good system down there. So I like that.
Yeah, we'll put the link in the show notes and the contact information so that they can contact Kyle and his team. And super excited
Awesome.
to see you scale this thing, brother. You're doing some great
Yeah.
work and excited to be part of that rise to success. So thanks so much, everybody, for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.